Purposely. Your life, God's purpose. Listen at purposely.com.
Who do you think of when you think of a great spiritual leader? What qualities do they possess that make them such a great leader? I personally think of the people who have walked with me through some of the hardest times of my life and left me feeling affirmed and not looked down upon. I think about the ones who asked really poignant questions that led to amazing conversations, and the ones who had the wisdom to see to the heart of the matter, to really dig down and figure out what was really going on. And also the people who had the discernment to bring truth to a situation where maybe I hadn't seen it before. These are God-given qualities, wisdom that goes beyond what we can do on our own. God equips us to lead well, and He does that through the Spirit. Hey, this is Jen. You're listening to the Bible for Busy People podcast, and this week we are talking about the Holy Spirit. Yesterday, we talked about how God equips us to do the work we need to do, and Bezalel was our example of this in building the temple. He was a master craftsman and artist, and he was able to bring people together to build the temple according to God's specifications. And we also have examples of leaders in Israel's history that God gave the Spirit to and equipped with what they needed to be able to lead Israel well. First of all, we'll look at Numbers 27, verses 15 through 19, which says, Moses said to the Lord, "May the Lord, the God who gives breath to all living things, appoint someone over this community to go out and come in before them, one who will lead them out and bring them in, so the Lord's people will not be like sheep without a shepherd." So the Lord said to Moses, "Take Joshua, son of Nun, a man in whom is the spirit of leadership, and lay your hand on him. Have him stand before Eleazar the priest and the entire assembly and commission him in their presence." I want to point out how Moses notes how God gives breath to all things. And we've talked about how the Hebrew word for spirit is ruach, which also means breath. And that's what God provides, the Spirit on Joshua, the next leader of Israel. The Spirit not only animates us, but also equips us, gives us gifts, and also is the wisdom and the beauty of God. And that's what the Spirit provides in our life. Next, we're moving on to Judges 3, verses 7 through 11, which says, "The Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. They forgot the Lord their God and served the Baals and the Asherahs. The anger of the Lord burned against Israel so that he sold them into the hands of Cushan-Rishathaim, king of Aram Naharaim, to whom the Israelites were subject for 8 years. But when they cried out to the Lord, he raised up for them a deliverer, Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, who saved them. The Spirit of the Lord came on him so that he became Israel's judge and went to war. The Lord gave Cushan-Rishathaim, king of Aram, into the hands of Othniel, who overpowered him. So the land had peace for 40 years until Othniel, son of Kenaz, died." And I want to add that the term judge also means deliverer, as was already said in there, that the Lord raised up for them a deliverer. God's response to our crying out is to send the Spirit to those who can lead us and deliver us. Othniel was the first judge and happened to be Caleb's younger brother, the same Caleb who surveyed the land and trusted God that they could do it, that they could defeat Jericho and they could retrieve the promised land for the Israelites. So that's an example of where the faith ran in the family. But the Spirit also comes upon those who aren't as likely to lead or maybe don't have quite the same amount of faith for whatever reason. Judges 6 verse 34 says, "Then the Spirit of the Lord came on Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, summoning the Abiezrites to follow him." Gideon, who claimed to be the least in his family in the weakest clan in Manasseh, as Midian had been oppressing Israel, basically tells God he's not the one to be able to lead Israel in anything. And again, God doesn't always pick the person most likely. And in those cases, God is glorified all the more. Gideon goes on to gather an army and wins the battle against the oppressive Midianites, delivering Israel from their hands. Next, we're reading Judges 13, verses 24 to 25, which says that the Spirit came upon Samson from birth. The woman gave birth to a boy and named him Samson. He grew, and the Lord blessed him, and the Spirit of the Lord began to stir him while he was in Mahanadan, between Zorah and Eshtaol. Samson isn't perfect. We see in his story that he has some challenges, but he still has the agency to make his own decisions. Some of them not great. But Samson still had the Spirit with him. He led, and he brought down many of the Philistines. Then we have 1 Samuel chapter 10, verses 9 through 10, which says, As Saul turned to leave Samuel, God changed Saul's heart, and all these signs were fulfilled that day. When he and his servant arrived at Gibeah, a procession of prophets met him. The Spirit of God came powerfully upon him, and he joined in their prophesying. Now God eventually left Saul when Saul was disobedient towards God in battle. I don't know that God takes away the Spirit like that, but I do think the Spirit can become quiet if we refuse to listen, we refuse to obey, and we refuse to hear. All of this to say, can you imagine a God who partners with his people? God works with us to forward his purpose and kingdom, and God equips us for the job. Ezekiel chapter 36, verses 24 to 26 indicates what's to come from God, a promise those who came before us longed for but didn't see. It says, For I will take you out of the nations. I will gather you from all the countries and bring you back into your own land. I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. I will cleanse you from all your impurities and from all your idols. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh, and I will put my Spirit in you and move you to follow my decrees and be careful to keep my laws. God promised the Spirit to all of us, and God followed through on that promise. We will see that in the next couple days, but think about how incredible it is that we have the power and understanding and presence and wisdom and glory of God within us, working with us to fulfill his purpose. What an incredible thing. I'd love for you to consider how you've seen the Spirit show up in people's lives and how those people have affected you and left an impact on you. Let's talk tomorrow more about the Holy Spirit.
Thank you for listening to The Bible for Busy People. If you need prayer or want to go deeper in your faith, visit our show notes. Will you take a moment to share with a friend and leave a review? It helps the Bible get into even more people's minds and hearts. Find more podcasts that will recharge you at purposely.com.